26 July 2022. New Twilight Zone. The gun is still warm. We see these public officials. Something ain't right. What do y'all think out there on that one? Hey, I want to give a big shout out to some of the other listeners that have been out there. I understand I got some fans out there. And I just want to give a big shout out to some of you people out there on the Alan Osborne Show. As we enter the Twilight Zone of politics and the panhandle. Anyway, it is the Twilight Zone today. And we're going to go cover that. So enough from Golden Earring and the Twilight Zone. We got it right here in the Panhandle. We're going to pick it up today. Like I said, a big shout out to all the people in Okaloosa County getting involved in the Alan Osborne Show and Panhandle politics and holding people accountable. And a big shout all the way out to the other end out in Ponce de Leon. To Bridget and Clint and the fan club out there in Ponce de Leon, we appreciate you tuning in and getting involved. Remember, we each have one vote, no matter how much you eat. And getting into that, and that's exactly what we're going to do, I'm going to get into some stuff today because, man, you cannot make this up. So from the Okaloosa, so in the Okaloosa County School Board race, and I've got more to cover there, but the biggest fight going on out there right now is between me and Graham Fountain. Oh, Graham's writing me and he's posting on my YouTube. Go look at the comments. He said, I'm gonna regret using his name. And y'all remember this video right here, the $500 million fraud? Well, Graham, I used your name in it like 12 years, 10 years ago. And now he's gonna be suddenly outraged. But Graham, here's why your name is used in that video. You said, how dare I use your name in that video about fraud? You know why? Because I still believe it's a fraud and nobody's proven it different, Graham. And we can still talk about it. So I'm going to talk about what exactly did I say your role was. So I'm going to tell you, Graham. So put down your arm and quit either saluting Hitler or waving for another sandwich and listen to Alan. Okay, what I'm using is evidence because I want to make sure you get it as a public record, Graham. And what it is from the Matthews, Jones, and Hawkins. And it says back in 12, when you were a role as Major Graham Fountain, this is in your public role, Graham. So don't say that I've defamed you. I'm just simply reading your paperwork from when you were an employee. It says that there was a telephone conference with the sheriff in Graham Fountain with Dana Matthews back on 10/4 of 2012. And the email from Dana Matthews and attachments over Driftwood Estates, petition to work and possible defamation cases. So basically I had written the sheriff and the sheriff had gotten Graham involved as his major. And this receipt say to review the file, the stuff I had sent from Graham Fountain, read the defamation of the sheriff. They weren't looking to see if a crime he committed. And while I was mad, they wouldn't investigate it. They just decided that if I said that they weren't doing the right thing, they just sue me. They're the cops. They're the freaking cops. So I've got this receipt if anybody wants it. And the review of the email from Sheriff Atkinson, Graham Fountain, to respond to the letters from Osborne's attorney. So I'm asking them to follow the law. The next document that I say you're involved in this video, Graham, is an email from Michael Atkinson on October 8th. Remember the receipt was the conversation on October 10th. And then there's an email and it says it's from Sheriff Michael Atkinson and it's CC'd to Major Graham Fountain. It says Driftwood Estates at Sandestin, the subject, non-compliance with the law. So if they proceeded forward to build and there was non-compliance and the government said they were compliant, Graham, and the sheriff and them didn't make them tell the truth when they knew they lied, that would be fraud. And it says, Dana, this is from the sheriff, I received this today. Essentially, they're asking me to take action. Now, him and Graham, this is Sheriff Mike Atkinson, that I'm not doing my job if I fail to take action. I perceive it as a civil matter, but furthermore, it looks to me that they're asking to block further development. And appears to, but it based on the fact that the county appears to be violating its own ordinances. That means compliance. My position is that a judge would need to give that order, as there does not appear to be a criminal predicate here. Your thoughts? So Mike and Graham, Sheriff Atkinson and Graham, his major, have gone to Dana Matthews himself, who's representing Mr. Becknell on this non-compliance, and said, is this criminal? Do y'all see the problem where Graham's involved? Graham, why are you getting Dana Matthews, who my complaint is partially about? So the developer is going to use Dana Matthews to petition the BCC with the lie, and you're going to ask him, do we have to prosecute it if y'all break the law? Graham, that's why your name's all in this video. My next document, Graham, and Graham, that was dated, you sent it to us. Let's see, it looks like, yeah, October of 2012. Yeah, these are all current, Graham. I know you can't be prosecuted. And then April of 2013, Graham, we gave y'all a letter to Greg Ankers that lays out all the bank fraud and who in the Walton County staff might be intentionally breaking the ordinance and the law and certifying paperwork to banks and buyers that stuff is compliant when it really isn't. Graham, we sent you that too in April of 2013, you and Mike. And Dana writes back to Mike and says, I have looked into this complaint and there is no criminal issue at all. Anyway, so they don't even address the violations of the standard. And it's from Dana Matthews in October of 2012. And the people, it's to Michael Atkinson. And it's the people, I can sit here and show you because normally I just memorize everything, but Graham thinks I'm lying. So I'm just reading his own damn documents that he should have figured out. Look, Graham, none of the other people who've said I were involved, every elected official has refused to comment because they're the only ones smart enough to know that I've got these damn documents. So you need another sandwich. Anyway, it's from Dana Matthews to Michael Atkinson, unredacted from a public records request through a lawsuit. And it's courtesy copy to Graham Fountain and Thomas Hoffner, whoever that is. And the subject is non-compliance with the law. So Graham, that's why your name's in there, fat boy. Don't sit there and tell people I'm crazy and that I got nothing but an axe to grind with people. You're out of shape, out of standards, a bag of hot air, and you weren't being a cop in Walton County, and you ran back to the state's attorney's office for a full-time job, and you're just chasing the dollar, in my opinion. And if you think that's defamation, then let's pony up and go to court, Graham, and we'll get Michael Atkinson and all these other people in these emails. We'll all sit down and take depositions because I'm not worried about it, Graham. Anyway, so leaving the subject of I got a sandwich and Graham Fountain's threats to make me pay, and I'll regret telling him that he was involved in this. Why will I regret it, Graham? I've got a lot more documents than this, but that's enough of the show that that's all you get. So moving on to the next show that happened today was going back to Walton County that Graham just left the state attorney's office from. They continue to shit down the back of people's backs in Walton County and tell them it's raining. Boy, it's lumpy rain, huh, people? So what happened today is the Christian International thing came up, and here's what was really going on today. Somebody applied for a zoning change, and some of the zoning was 2-to-1 conservation residential, and some of it was the business where the old church was. But in a fell swoop, we heard about an hour of testimony, not about the zoning change, but about projects that weren't really being approved and what would happen. But the bottom line was this: none of that was up for discussion today. It was just a change from the previous use on the future land use map to a new use, commercial. And today that happened. 60 some acres of a church became all commercial. And no matter what testimony was heard that was irrelevant, only thing that matters is they changed the future land use map. And now that it's commercial, all you people in Peach Creek and all that, they can put whatever they want at whatever density there. And then they can apply to take it from commercial to industrial. This was bullshit today. Here's the biggest bullshit to tell you this was all decided. It was decided by phony Tonys back in phony Tony mode. They must have told him they won't blackball him anymore because they're going along with Tony's motions. And Trey and Nick are paying back all them campaign and support from Shipman. Shipman stood up there today, not mostly about a zoning change, but to tell them their massive plan that they're not obligated to follow. There's absolutely nothing passed today that makes that property not be done with whatever tomorrow. And that was the issue. But the owners had a representative that went on and on about stuff with no time limit, and so did Shipman. And here's the biggest shit on the citizens today. There were two of them. Bo Wills came forward today with an objection, and he had 1,700 signatures objecting to this land use change. And I think he said, I'm not positive, maybe 14 of them, 100 of them were verified property owners and residents that are affected in South Walton. You go back and listen to it. And the second thing was this. Barbara Morano got up there to speak on behalf of the South Walton Community Council. And after the BCC and Beanpole Barker as the chairman had let everybody drone on and on and on, and Clay let them about stuff that had nothing to do with what actually was happening, just stuff pie in the sky and eyewash and pleadings of affordable house for affordable housing that's really going to have a bunch of illegal immigrants building houses with unlicensed GCs and all the other crap that goes on out there. We just took all that land that had been designated that way for since 96, they admitted it. It has been programmed to be a certain type of land, and conservation residential isn't just about use, it's about preservation and spacing, because not everybody needs to be crammed in together. But what happened today, Beanpole Barker and them made sure that policy, and Barker broke policy today. I'm gonna have to read this one so I don't get misquoted with some kind of bullshit like that. Just get sick of it. So let me go into this, and you're just not gonna believe this. It's really hard. So Barbara Morano gets out there representing the South Walton Community Council, and this is being built in South Walton. Let me go on and do this. So these are the rules, Mike Barker. During the consideration of an item on the agenda, a representative or a group organization may address the commission in lieu of a number of people getting up and speaking. The representative of the group or organization shall identify herself like Barbara did. And they're speaking on behalf of them, and basically nobody else can speak from the community council. The representative shall ask for the additional time, which she did, to the chairperson, and the chairperson will grant, not may grant, not should grant, will grant the time. In no event shall the additional time exceed 10 minutes unless extended by a vote of the commission. Ms. Morano asked for 10 minutes. He would not give it to her. Mr. Barker once again proved that the BCC will break policy every time they get a chance. Remember this. If the group or organization representative speaks to the issue, then in that event, no other member of that organization's governing body may address the board on that item. Now they're going to say, well, she didn't let us know in advance. Wrong. She had sent ahead of time, and I just got the request. And from Mary King, the administrator, she had sent ahead of time to her an email that said, to Tony Corman, who was sitting right there when it happened, and they all knew. Jennifer Ward, all these people knew, so that it was from Barbara requesting time, and she notified Mike Barker before the meeting that she was doing it for the procedures. July 26th at 1:51 p.m. She sent it from me, and she let Barker know that he had broke the rules and that she was requesting for additional time. It is my understanding that 10 minutes can be granted. Thank you, Barbara Morano. So today you need to go watch the end of that meeting at Christian International. What's going on is a land use change. But what happened was a pitch for multiple projects with no review, no public comment on those projects. This was a payoff to Gary Shipman, and the voice of the people was silenced. 1,700 signatures didn't even get a comment, and a request for time by a South Walton Community Council that's been involved for years in what's best for South Walton, that was ignored by Beanpole Barker too. And the people who don't know how to use their purchase cards, they were all over that shit. They just went right along with it. We're going to show the people we're mad that you can't make us be accountable no matter what you do. I think that was the statement today. We're not going to follow the rules and what's written on paper. I hope all you homeowners out there, all you small business people that took it in the shorts, as that woman stood up today and said, we're from law enforcement, we're nurses and paramedics, and we don't want all these people crammed by these houses we're paying through the nose for. We came up here expecting that land use not to change next to us, and now it has. What morons. I just don't know. You can't make this shit up. You can't make it up. I'm telling you, you got to vote for other people. We got to put a stop to it. There's got to be an investigation. And that's the way it was on July 26, 2022. Graham wants a sandwich, and I've given him the facts. Somebody sent him a sandwich. And Beanpole Barker and the BCC change a church from residential conservation to 60-acre commercials in one eye blink. And that's the way it was on the Alan Osborne show. Y'all keep them straight out there. They could not keep them straight. God bless America, and I hope we survive the politicians. Tune in next time.